We're going to be talking a little bit about what America 250 means to America's teachers. Like, why does this topic even matter? Do
Mhm.
teachers even understand what to do with it or how to integrate it into their curriculum and their classroom? So, I'm going to start with you, Louise. If you can just give us like a 2 sentence overview of who you are and what you do, that'd be fantastic.
Well, hi. Thank you so much for having us, Sharon. It's a pleasure to see you again. And so I'm Louise, and I run iCivics, and iCivics is Sandra Day O'Connor's legacy. We are the largest civic education site in the country. I'm sure if teachers are joining us, they will be familiar with iCivics. We are known for our games, but we also have lesson plans, and we have a super special project for America's 250th because we think it's a really important time. So I'll be really excited to talk about that.
Love it. Hello to everybody who's just now joining us. I'm
Mhm.
Sharon McMahon, and I'm joined by Louise Dubé from iCivics and Colleen Shogan from In Pursuit. And we are talking tonight about America's 250th anniversary and why it matters. And Colleen, can you give us a super brief introduction into who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name's Colleen Shogan, and as Sharon said, I run the history-based civics initiative in Pursuit, which we think is going to be one of the most ambitious projects for 2026, looking to the past 250 years of American history to try to debrief it to talk about the future.
Mm. I am very excited about In Pursuit. And of course, I love iCivics. I'm into any kind of organization that helps increase America's civic education and literacy because we really do need it from like preschool to age 100.
Mhm.
We are currently reaping what we have sown in America, which is a very long history, sadly, of not investing in civic education. And I love that both of you are playing such integral and important roles in changing that. Colleen, I would love to have you talk a little bit more about America's 250th anniversary. Why does this matter? What does it mean for teachers and parents? Why is this even something we need to be talking about?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think we should step back a little bit and think about what it means that the United States is 250 years old. And if we look at the history of the world, there hasn't ever been a large democracy that has made it 250 years. I mean, what's the closest? The Athenians, and that was like not even 200 years, and it was a direct democracy. It wasn't really, a large republic like we have in the United States. So this has been a remarkable feat, and we've had a pretty darn good run for 250 years. So the first thing I think we should do is just take a moment, take a breath, and say, wow, this has been something that we've accomplished. But that doesn't also mean that we should just say, okay, we've made it 250 years. It's automatic that we're going to make it another 250 years or 500 years. We have to take stock of things. And what a great moment in time. What a great moment in American history to really step back and say, let's take a breather and let's take account of all the things that we've done in the past 250 years. What lessons can we learn from that? And how can we take these lessons and apply them to what we see today and what we see for our future and plan for the future? Like if you were going to have a party at your house, you would probably at the end of that party figure out, well, what worked, what didn't work. People liked the cake, but they didn't like, the drinks that we served or things like that. Well, that was just a party. I mean, this is American democracy. So we should probably take a little bit of time and a little bit of resources to figure out how we can think about the future. And that's what we're trying to do at More Perfect and with the In Pursuit initiative.
Mm. Yeah, well, what an interesting idea, Colleen, that we should actually try to learn from the past. What a strange and novel idea you've raised. I have a few statistics here that I want to share, and I want to get each of your guys' takes on these. Um, You guys, the American Historical Association surveyed 3,000 teachers for the American Lesson Plan, which is teaching U.S. history in secondary schools. They found that 79% of teachers identified the American Revolution and the founding era as a high priority topic. That 54% listed it among their 3 favorite subjects to teach. This was like the highest of any subject. But only 23 states currently require teaching of the revolution in high school. It is possible to have only learned about it that one time for 1 month in 6th grade and to have graduated from high school in more than half of the states having never heard of it again. 94% of teachers said civic education is an important or very important classroom goal. That's good to hear. And all but 8 teachers, so that is 2,992 teachers, said civic participation is a teaching priority. So I would love to hear from you, Colleen, and then I'd love to hear from you too, Louise. Why are teachers so eager for these resources? Why does this matter in America's classrooms?
Well, I mean, I think that they are looking for the resources because they're looking for ways in which they can make that history relevant and exciting to kids. I mean, it's one thing to teach kids like who did what, when, where, and why. I mean, that's probably like how I was taught for the most part, and probably my parents were taught. But they're looking for resources in which they can tell stories about American history. The stories of American history are, you don't have to make these things up. Like, you don't have to read novels. You don't have to watch, movies. You don't have to watch Marvel entertainment. You can get really riveting stories. And Sharon, you've done this, not even from the most famous people in American history, even people that you haven't even heard about. You can have these fascinating stories. And inherently, just as human beings, we're wired, and kids especially, we're wired to stories, to the hero's arc and learning about that. So I think teachers are looking for us to provide them with content that they can use to make American history fun and exciting and relevant, so the kids don't stop just learning about it in 6th grade or senior year, that they continue as lifelong learners learning about American history.
I know that this is something that Ken Burns has run up against too, is that, he's been working on a film about the American Revolution that's coming out soon. He's been working on it for like a decade or more. And one of the biggest challenges, and I know this is a challenge for teachers too, and I'd love to hear you talk about this, Louise, is that there's obviously, there are no photographs. There are no movies. We have photographs of the Civil War. We can see like, oh, that's what it looked like to get your arm blown off. Like we actually have really interesting stories and film depictions, but that's not true of the revolution. So much of it is like, and now, children, imagine, if you will, back to the year 1776. Well, how will I imagine that? How do you conceive of talking about this sort of, the founding era, Louise, in a way that is engaging for children of all ages?
Well, first of all, I am super excited about Ken's movie. I saw little clips of it, and it's just
It's very
fantastic.
good.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
yes.
good, and it's going to do exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
It's going to put pictures in people's minds, and it's going to become really anchored there, and we're really excited about that. The way we do it, so one thing, first of all, we have to acknowledge this is a tough moment to do this, a tough moment to teach about this. Teachers are feeling under tremendous pressures for reasons we can explore later. But one thing that's good about it is that students are coming into classrooms super excited about understanding what's going on. So one way to do it is to tie what's happening to the past and actually use the past to bring a context to what's happening in the present. Well, the way we have done it traditionally at iCivics is to have games. And the games are really both as an engagement way, but actually a way to get kids' minds around some of these foundational principles. We have a new game, for example, Declaration Investigation. And, we all know, like, the Declaration of Independence, there it is. This is a game that actually goes into the ideas that led to the Declaration. You are Special Agent 6, and you are going on a quest to understand how we got to these ideas. And those ideas are really what leads to our country being as successful as Colleen has put it, right? So this is what we have. This is our inheritance that has led it to where we are. But we put the student in the action, in the center of the action. And that's been really important for us and for our success. And it's been important to activate their natural competitiveness, right? So they want to win this game, and they keep looking for clues, and they learn so much as a result.
Well, if you're just not joining us, I'm Sharon McMahon. I'm joined by Louise Dubé of iCivics, which is the organization that Sandra Day O'Connor, the former Supreme Court Justice, founded to provide civic education to children around the country, and also by Colleen Shogan, who is a former archivist of the United States, a job that very few people have had, Colleen.
Only 11, right? I'm the 11th.
That is one of the most elite clubs that exists in the United States. Truly.
It is.
One of the
I'm the only woman, which is kind of crazy when you think about that, right? The only woman.
Someday people are going to write a book about you, Colleen. So you better sit up straight and eat your vegetables.
Well, I'm a little scared about what they might discover. So I do want to show that I do have my declaration glass today. Ooh. So there you go, in the spirit for A250.
I love it. One of the things I've been hearing from people, and I'd love to get each of your take on this as well, is they feel, and Louise mentioned this, that this is a tough moment to be teaching civics in the United States, that for a large variety of reasons, people, especially teachers, feel like they are under a microscope, perhaps in an undeserved fashion. They feel like whatever I say is not going to be right. That it's going to be misinterpreted by somebody. If I say these are our founding ideals and here are ways that we're not currently living up to that, that's going to be interpreted one way. Or if I talk about how great America is constantly, that is not doing enough to acknowledge the very real issues that marginalized groups have faced in the United States, that there's no way to win in this moment. There's no way to win. And I think sometimes that makes it feel to some teachers like, if I cannot win, I do not wish to play. And like that's a famous line from The Wire, the TV show. You cannot lose if you do not play. So, but yet we have to play. We have to play the game. And I hate to characterize it as a game, but that's very much how it feels to many teachers in this moment. How can teachers win in this moment? How can they share the truth of American history? How can they share facts about what is happening in the United States without angering large numbers of their constituents, so parents, community members? What a tricky road to hoe. I'd love to hear each of your takes on that topic.
Well, I'll start. So recently, one of my colleagues went down to a meeting of several teachers. There might have been 50, 75 people in the audience. And she asked them to raise their hands if they were patriots and they were teaching social studies, because they wanted to tell the story of this country, a little bit like what Colleen was talking about before. Everybody raised their hands. These were social studies teachers. And then she said, well, if you've been afraid or feel under some pressure about teaching civics or history right now, just keep your hand up. Every single hand stayed up. So, and then we have, from that, it sort of really gave us a shock. And then we looked at our own data at iCivics. And we can document between 6 and 20% drop in what are topics that have never been controversial before. We're talking about foundations of government, the 3 branches of government, just things that are essential to be taught for how this nation works. That has really, we normally don't speak about this very much publicly about our own data. But in this case, the situation is so grave and so dangerous for our students that we decided to talk about it very publicly, and then to start a program free. Everything's free. So it's called We Can Teach Hard Things. I could have added but they shouldn't be hard. But right now, unfortunately, even teaching the basics of the way that our constitutional democracy works is actually controversial. So what we've done is we've curated the best classroom practices, and sort of in a teacher help teacher kind of way, we've put people together in a room, and it's called We Can Teach Hard Things. You can find a series of webinars on the iCivics.org website, and what you come is to be with other teachers who have figured out ways to teach about very specific topics. And it's curated by our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Emma Humphreys. And we're really hopeful that this will help teachers. I think the only way through, Sharon, is for teachers to try and tell other teachers, and then for people to hold hands and have courage together.
Have courage.
And I think have courage. And it's for your nation. You need to do this. We need to do this together. And it isn't. Oftentimes, the fear is what keeps us from doing it. But actually, when you dip your toe in, it's okay. People, the Americans are, I think in general, Americans are 100% behind the Constitution and the way that our system works, and we cannot be afraid to teach it.
Yeah. I love that. And I agree with you that sometimes the anticipatory anxiety is worse than the actual doing, right? It's like, oh, you got to get this whatever medical test, go get your mammogram or your colonoscopy or whatever. And the thought of doing it is like, I can't do it. And then once you actually show up, it's like, that was 5 minutes. So I think
it's not like a colonoscopy.
This is much easier than a colonoscopy. Much easier. But I do think it's true that like the anticipatory anxiety can sometimes be worse than the actual doing, and that actually America is behind you. No matter, there might be some rogue individual out there, but America is behind teachers. And I do also want to reiterate that everything we're talking about this evening, all of iCivics resources, resources from In Pursuit and et cetera. This is all free. Nobody's selling anything. Nobody's trying to get you to give anybody money. We are here totally just to provide free resources for America's teachers, parents, and students. I'd love to hear you two very briefly talk, Colleen, about like how can teachers win in this moment?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think a couple things come to mind. First, I agree with what Louise said. When I worked at the National Archives, I'd go out. I talked to people all the time because it was kind of fun to walk out at lunchtime and talk to people that were looking at the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And I will tell you, never once did anyone say, "Oh, I only want to see the good things about American history," or "show me a curated version of American history." People never said anything like that. They wanted to see more. They want to give me as much as you can, give it all to me, and I'll figure it out. So, I think there may be some, like you said, some rogue actors out there, but 99% of all Americans are well behind you. And the other thing I will say is, one of the ways you can go about it is by teaching with primary sources. And that's another way that you can go about it. You can, and there's a lot of teaching tools that are out there that provide that. You can provide those original records and original sources, walk kids through what they're looking at, and let them actually puzzle through what that means and ask each other questions about that primary resource. And I know there's been a lot of surveys done of teachers who say they really want resources from the National Archives, the Library of Congress, the Smithsonian, these original sources, so then they can build their lessons around that, plus things like iCivics, In Pursuit, all the resources that you provide, Sharon, so then they can build a whole lesson plan around it. So, there's a lot of ways to do it. Some people say there's no such thing as doing nonpartisan history. Every once in a while, I have someone say that to me. And I say, absolutely not. we can do this. And that's what we're trying to do at In Pursuit as well. And Sharon, because you're one of our authors who's writing one of our essays for the project, actually on William Henry Harrison, and Louise and iCivics are helping us by doing some short videos for In Pursuit. That's basically what we're doing. We had a very diverse group of people participating, but when they write their short histories about presidents and first ladies, we're asking them, no ideology here. Give us a lesson that is relevant to all Americans that we can learn from these individuals.
I love that. And I think it's also important to note that nonpartisan does not mean we're only going to tell you information you like and agree with.
No. It means we're not going to use an ideology to interpret the history. It means the same facts that everybody has access to, the same pieces of information. It doesn't mean watered down either. Sometimes I get people that, nonpartisan means watered down. Absolutely not.
Right. And it's not, the other thing I want to say is I think there's some kind of bug where we're suffering from some kind of a sickness that we think that everything is wrong now, that there's nothing you can trust, that there's no actual events that occurred in our history, that everything is debatable. It's not, right? I mean, some things happened and some things didn't happen. And so we have to stand by that. We know our history. And our job is to teach it well in a balanced way. And so I just want to reaffirm people's, again, courage to be able to do this.
Right. I love that. Okay, in the little bit of time we have left, Colleen, what actually is In Pursuit? And how might teachers, parents, citizens be able to use it?
Absolutely. So In Pursuit is a collection of short essays, only 1,200 words, about all of our presidents in the history of the United States and select first ladies. And we're going to be collecting these essays together, and we're going to be publishing them absolutely for free here on Substack. And each essay is punctuated by one lesson we can learn from this person. And that lesson is kind of like a Ben Franklin aphorism, something that's catchy, something that will be relevant to you, no matter what your profession is, what your background is. And we are encouraging teachers to follow us. We'll be providing all these essays. And Louise at iCivics and the Bill of Rights Institute are going to be working with us to reach teachers by creating short videos. And actually, we're doing the short videos, Sharon, because when I met with you early in the process, you said, if you want to reach kids, you should do some short videos. And sure enough, we went to Bill of Rights Institute and iCivics, and they said they could help us with that.
I love that. And I love, too, that you have talked most of the former presidents and former first ladies into participating, and they're not writing about themselves.
No,
they're writing about somebody else.
Actually, but that's funny because most of them did ask originally, "Can I write about myself?" And the answer was no.
Absolutely not.
We have these great pairings. George Bush is going to write on George Washington. Barack Obama is going to write on Abraham Lincoln, and President Clinton is going to write on Teddy Roosevelt. And then the first ladies are writing about other first ladies as well. It's going to be great.
I love that. Yeah, and what an all-star lineup of presidential historians and other, former officials of the United States, people who have obviously given a lot of thought and consideration from across the political spectrum into what America's former leaders and former first ladies have to teach us today. What is relevant about this person from the past that can help carry America from its first 250 years into its next 250 years? And this is a very, as you said, one of the most ambitious projects of 2026. This is not going to be here's our one Substack post. This is going to go on for a long time, and it's going to provide resources eventually beyond even the presidents and some of the first ladies and on into the future. So
that's right.
Yes.
We're starting on President's Day. It's going to run all through 2026. And you're right. Former presidents, current Chief Justice of the United States, 7 Pulitzer Prize winners, journalists, thought leaders like yourself. So we're just so excited about this and trying to make sure that we can share it with as many Americans as possible.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
We're
love that.
very excited about that and our collaboration with Colleen and her team, and it's great. And Sharon, we're so happy that you're participating in it too. I
Mm.
just also want to suggest to people that if they want to start now and celebrate America's 250th, we have created a Civic Star Challenge. Not only is it free, but you can actually win money.
Hmm.
So yeah, so civicstarchallenge.org, the Bill of Rights Institute, which Colleen just mentioned, is our partner in this with iCivics. And we have created a site where teachers can go and download free resources. And the resources are tied to the Declaration of Independence and to the founding period. And all you have to do as a teacher is do something with your class, with the parents, with anyone, and then tell us what you did. So if you read the Declaration together, if you had kids put it in their own words, then tell us about it. And then you submit a civic impact story, and you have chances to win. First, you have time to do this before next week. We're awarding $20,000 next week, and then a total of $200,000.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So if anybody missed it, it is civicstarchallenge.org, as in you too can be a civics star. Civicstarchallenge.org, completely free. Nobody's going to try to sell you anything. There's no like webinar to buy any programs. It's 100% free. Teachers, parents, this is, you have to have courage to educate the next generation. And then Colleen, everybody should go to inpursuit.org.
Yes, thank
You
you.
can subscribe now. And when the essays begin to start rolling out, they will land in your inbox.
They will.
You won't miss any of them. Again, completely free. Nobody's trying to sell you anything. These are both such incredible resources that are just being built because the people on this call tonight and many millions of others actually just really love the American story. And we know that it's not over yet. And we all have a chance to participate in what comes next. So, any final parting words before I let you go this evening?
I have one. I want to thank Sharon for hosting us. So
Yay.
thank you. Thanks for
My
everything
pleasure.
that you've done. And we really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
love that you curated this community that's devoted to this, and thank you for sharing the good word with all of your followers. And we're just happy to be here and happy to have you as a national resource.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. I appreciate that. So civicstarchallenge.com or
Or
.org, civicstarchallenge.org and inpursuit.org, completely free. And we will email you out this video, everybody who's here tonight, so that you can forward it to other people who might be interested. And I'll include the links in the video description as well. Louise and Colleen, great to see you this evening. This will
Thanks,
not be the
Sharon.
last time we meet. And thank you both for your important work.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.